Hi, and thank you for joining me on this Neuropilates class. My name's Heba, and I'm going to be taking you through the class today. In Neuropilates, we theme each class towards a different part of the brain, and today's class is themed towards the cerebellum. The cerebellum lives here at the back of your brain and is responsible for your posture, your balance, and your coordination, amongst many other things. It's a part of the brain that's divided in two halves like everything else. We're going to do a little test at the beginning of the class to test which half is the side that's working too much and which is your underactive half. And throughout the class, we're going to be trying to stimulate or wake up that underactive side. All you need for the class is a little ball, could be a tennis ball, a piece of fruit, anything you have at home that you can carry in one hand. And we're going to start with the test. So let's get started. So we'll start the test sitting down. Take your thumbs and fingers together on your thighs like this, and you're just going to turn your palms up and down, and start to go faster and faster and faster until you feel like one of them is struggling to keep up. Maybe you've identified already, or maybe you need to go for a little more reps until it starts to fatigue. But let's try a few more tests so it becomes more clear. Take your arms out in front of you at the shoulders, and then we're just going to turn the palms up, turn the palms down, make sure your thumbs are with the fingers, and then go faster and faster and faster until you feel like one arm starts to go a little flippery. The flippery side is the underactive cerebellum side, which is usually your non-dominant side anyway, but sometimes it's the other way around, so we're just confirming. Let's do one more test. You can put your fingers on the floor or on your thighs or anything, but keep your index fingers up and just start tapping. Let me do this on the mat so it's more clear. You're going to tap, tap, tap with your index finger, your second finger, and see if one of them starts to lag. Again, usually that would be your underactive cerebellum side. And then it crosses over to the other side, because I know some of you are thinking, well, I thought it crosses over. Let's do one more test, but for the lower body, because sometimes it could be different. Take your legs out in front of you like this and just tap with your feet. Get into a rhythm. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then if you go faster, one of them is going to start to lag. Usually it'll be the same as the upper body, but sometimes it's different. So I'm guessing most of you, it's the left side that's the underactive side if you're a typical right-handed person, and that's me as well. So I'm going to be cueing you today doing different stuff on the left to the right. So when I tell you we're going to do this on the left side, if those of you who are the other way around and who found that the right side was the underactive side, I'll just give you a little prompt that you do it on the other side as well. Don't worry, you won't be confused once we start. Let's start with the warm-up. You need your ball. We're going to start standing up. So start by holding the ball in your non-dominant hand, the one that was less coordinated. Hold it and squeeze it. Hopefully if you're holding a piece of fruit, it's not something squishy. Pick an apple or something. And then go ahead and look at the ceiling with your eyes and then the floor. And in Neuropilates classes, we always start with a vision exercise because vision is your most dominant sense that activates so many different parts of the brain. In particular, this movement is waking up midline structures of the brain, amongst which is the midline portion of the cerebellum, which is today's theme, that helps keep us upright against gravity. So go ahead and flick up and down, up and down, up and down. And this exercise, believe it or not, does help you with your posture and uprightness. Try to go faster if you can, and pick two targets that you're looking at. Try not to involve your eyebrows or your face muscles. I know I tend to, so ignore me if I am. Let's do 3 more. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Settle your eyes, and then go ahead and just take your arm out in front of you. And we're going to start by drawing a figure of 8 with the arm still squeezing the ball. So draw the 8, trying to keep your trunk stable. The underactive side of the cerebellum is woken up by spiral patterns. So we are going to be doing a lot of figure 8s on the non-dominant side. Go ahead and change direction. Trying to keep everything else nice and stable. And then you're going to go across the body and beside you, across and beside you, across beside you. Like a figure of 8, but a horizontal one going around the body. And now change direction, go the opposite way. And we're going to do this now all over again on the same side, but standing on one leg. So stand again on your non-dominant side because the cerebellum on that side controls balance as well. And go ahead and challenge your balance with this dynamic figure of 8. Your other arm is going to want to get involved. You'll feel it flexing. Try and keep it kind of behind your back or something. Change direction. You don't have to move fast. I'm moving fast with my shoulder to try and challenge my balance, but move at a pace that feels like it's slightly challenging for you. And then go across the body and beside you. And if you want to progress this, you can even add a little bit of rotation with your trunk as well. Your challenge is to stay balanced on that left foot or on that non-dominant side, no matter what you do with your arm. Change direction. Again, the spiral pattern wakes up the underactive neurons of that left cerebellum. The goal in this class is not symmetry, is not to achieve symmetry. You've been right-handed your whole life, and our asymmetries are what makes us human. The goal is just to wake up underactive neurons for the purposes of overall brain health. And relax. Great. Now let's go ahead and stand at the back of our mats, and we're going to do some roll downs into plank. So you're going to lengthen up nice and tall. You're going to exhale, chin to chest, roll down, leave the ball at the bottom. Let's do one just rolling up, rolling down. And as you do your roll downs, try to keep your pelvis vertical so you're not shifting back. Kind of like a roll up in Pilates mats. We're rolling down, keeping our legs vertical, pelvis vertical. And then on the way up, send your sitting bones down towards your heels without leaning back. Try and keep the hamstrings very active, very alive. Now we're going to inhale, lengthen. This time we're going to walk out to our plank. So we're going to roll down, walk out without swinging your hips from side to side. Take your plank position and hold it here just to wake up the energy in the entire body. Reach the crown of the head forward as you send your sacrum and tailbone back. And your heels, think of that two-way opposition reach in the body. Lift your center muscles, your core. Make sure you're breathing here. And then when you're ready, bend the knees, or when you've had enough, bend the knees and child's pose. Take a few moments in child's pose to breathe into the back and sides of your rib cage and really feel like you're expanding the skin here, stretching your skin every inhalation. And let's roll up. Swing the legs round to the front and take your ball with you. Sit bone walk to the front of your mat. Okay, once you're here, so sitting nice and tall, take the ball on the non-dominant side again. You can flex or point your feet and just tuck your tailbone under or think of sitting on your jeans back pockets while still creating length through the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Taking like a letter C shape. But before we go to letter C, we want to create a letter J. So if you think of your spine as a letter I, then you go tailbone under into a letter J, still keeping the length through the rest of the spine, and then you go to the C shape, rather than just slumping into a C shape directly. And then come forward and grow again through the top of the ears. Again, we're going to exhale, sit on your jeans back pockets, lengthen up through the stem of the J, and then go to your letter C shape, drawing your abdominals in and up, going a little bit further, reaching your toes in the opposite direction, and then we're going to lay down on our back, ready for the 100. But before we do the 100, just do a few pelvic tilts. So for those of you doing these pelvic tilts for the first time, just think of a cup of tea here, sitting on the top of your pelvis. You're going to spill the cup of tea over your tummy, and then you're going to bring it back to settle. So you're just rocking your pelvis back and forth. And if I say an imprint position, I just mean the tea is over your tummy, your lower back is imprinted. That's what I mean when I say you can take an imprint if you need to. I will be saying that in the class. So let's go ahead and get ready for our 100. Take one leg up to 90-degree tabletop. Here we're going to take an imprint if we need to. If we feel like when we lift the other leg, we do this then you may need to do a little bit of an imprint first to strengthen these muscles, and then squeeze the legs together. Reach your arms nice and long. Drop your chin down a little bit. Curl up with the head and shoulders. Straighten your legs if you want to, and you can turn your legs out in a Pilates V and start pumping strongly with the arms. Fast arm pumps, but slow breath. We're breathing in for 5 counts, and breathing out for 5 counts. So it's like an inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, we're only doing kind of a mini warm-up set here because I want to do this a little differently. And relax. So for those of you who are doing 100 for the first time, probably just stick to what I just did. And now, for those of you who are used to the 100, grab the ball on your non-dominant side again. And then as you're doing pumping downward with the arms, since this is a cerebellum themed class, you're going to challenge your coordination by going in with the legs. So the arms are pumping down, but the legs are pumping in. Can you coordinate that? That's today's challenge for the 100. Ready? Nod your chin, and we are going to actually do 100 counts now. So curling up and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 10, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 20, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 30, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 40, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 50, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 60, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 70, in, 2, 3, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 80, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 90, in, 2, 3, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 100. Hold. Take your legs down if you can. Flex your feet strongly. You can squeeze your legs together even. Reach your arms towards your toes and scoop the abdominals in as you feel your arms are reaching forward, straight into your roll-up. We're rolling down one vertebra at a time, taking the arms overhead, keeping the rib cage heavy. Keep going if you're used to this. If you're stuck here and you're doing this, put a pillow underneath your lower back and that will take care of it. Or even just do this with your mat. This mat doesn't count much. It's a thin yoga one. But if you were to do this with a thick mat, it would certainly feel like it's giving you some help. Scoop the abdominals in and reach. This should be round back here. And then sit on your jeans back pockets again, rolling down. We can leave the ball actually for now. This one's just about spine mobility, core control. If you want to make this more challenging, more classical Pilates, keep the arms by the ears the whole time, which makes quite a big difference. Let's do last one. And we're going to stay on the mat now, ready for one leg circle. So in one leg circle, we're going to do linear movement on the dominant side and more spiral movement on the non-dominant side. So let's start with your dominant side first. For most of you, that's going to be the right leg. So take your right leg up or your dominant leg up. Turn the leg out in the socket and press down into your supporting leg. If your hamstrings are a little too tight, just bend this knee. Take the arms out to the side and just go ahead and go up and down with the leg, challenging your active range of motion here. We go up and down and then tick-tock across and out, focusing on keeping your opposite hip bone steady and stable. And then connect the dots and just do a plain circle on this side. And this circle could be small or big, Pilates style if you want. If you want to do it big and fast, you can do, but only go as big with the circle as your 2 drinks here. Now imagine there's 2 cups of tea, 1 on each hip bone, and you're not spilling them. And don't forget to cross the midline of the body. Change direction, cross the midline of the body, then come round. Keeping the bottom leg active, keeping the leg turned out will make things feel a little less grippy in your hip flexors. And relax. Switch legs. Now, on the non-dominant side, we're going to do 8s instead. Again, challenging the drink. We're going to draw a figure of 8, a vertical 8 first. And just notice how your coordination actually affects your stability. So you should feel like, because it's uncoordinated, it's causing more instability in those drinks. Change direction. Obviously, if you've got tight hamstrings like me, a band works really great here. Struggling just to keep my legs straight, but I can do it down here as well. That's an option. And now we can go horizontal 8 across the body and to the side. So figure 8s are just a great way to activate more neurons on that side of the cerebellum, because there's more for them to think about. And the cerebellum works closely with another structure in the brain called the basal ganglia, which is also about smoothing out movement. Change direction. Anytime you see choppy movement, that's a cerebellum and basal ganglia issue. And the only way to get smoother with it is to slow down that movement. I hope we changed direction. I don't know, had enough. Take your feet to the edges of the mat and just loosen up those hips now by going from side to side like this. So keep the feet wide on this one so it becomes more about your hips. Take your feet hip distance apart. Let's just do a few bridges here, rolling up on the exhale. Imagine helium balloons are lifting you up from your hip bones, and then soften your chest and roll down through the center. Exhale, imprint first, spilling the tea over your tummy, then peel the spine vertebra by vertebra up, and then roll down through the spine. And this one's nice to do after one leg circle, even though it's not in the classical order, just to loosen up the hip flexors. In terms of the cerebellum theme on this, the cerebellum is also responsible for your extensor tone. It works with the vestibular system of the brain, of the inner ears, to send signals to all your extensor muscles, including your glutes and hamstrings. So by working your glutes and hamstrings, you're also feeding back input into the cerebellum, the part of the cerebellum that controls our posture. So hold it up at the top now. And this could be really, a lot of people do this exercise with double legs and they don't really feel it. But if you imagine you're going to pull your heels towards your bottom without actually moving them, can you feel your hamstrings come alive? Yeah? If you're feeling this in your lower back, just imprint slightly or tilt the T over your tummy again. Keep that feeling of activation here. These are usually quite underactive muscles. Put all your weight now on the left foot. Strong weight in the left foot. Drive your elbows down as well, like I'm doing, and then lift your right leg up, really noticing if you shifted your pelvis to the left. Make sure you haven't. And then take it down. Keep the pelvis bang in the middle next to your hands. Let your hands be like walls. Push down into the right foot strongly, and then lift your left leg up without the pelvis shifting to either side of this wall. Most people with short legs like to do this with their feet elevated. So put your feet on the sofa, put your feet on a block, anything, and then roll down through the spine. Okay, so now we're going to do that fully. We're going to roll up again, driving down into the elbows, driving down into the feet, sending the knees forward and away. Push down strongly into the left foot. We're all doing same left and right here. Lift your right leg up to the ceiling. Hold it. Keep your right waist long. Make sure you haven't hitched your right waist up. Flex the foot to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower and lift. Lower, keeping the hips high. Kick the leg towards you strongly. We're doing it 5 times. Checking that the hip bones are level. Take it down. If this feels like you're all over the place, stick to holding in a tabletop. Reach your left leg now up and down. Pressing down into the right. Just waking up our extensor tone to activate that middle portion of the cerebellum. And then take it down, hold, and roll down through the spine. Hug your knees into your chest. Start to rock and rock a little bit more until you're rolling like a ball. When you come up though, let's take the proper position, which is hands here, or the classical position. There's no such thing as proper position. Hands here on the ankles. Pull your heels in nice and closely, knees open. Now really try roll back from your core center. So don't roll back by lifting your legs. Really stay nice and tucked and think, it's the abdominals that roll me back. And then you come up and it's the abdominals that hold you static. Roll back and then up. When you come up, park just off your sit bones. Don't go on your sit bones. Stay behind your sit bones. And a lot of people don't really feel this as a core exercise until they stick their elbows to their knees. If you do it like that, then you get, it is quite a strong core exercise. Let's do 2 more. And then stay down into your one leg stretch directly now. One leg pulls in close towards you. The other one reaches far. Eye lines at the pubic bone. And just switch and switch and switch. Hugging the knee nice and close to your chest. Challenging your arm coordination. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. And feel free to keep your head and shoulders down. Let's do 4 more. 3. The breath is just continuous here. 2 and 1. Hands go behind the head, straight to crisscross, but slow crisscross. Think, I want to bring my left elbow to my right knee, but I can't do this. I have to keep the elbow wide open. And then we switch. How close can you get your elbow to your knee while keeping your elbows wide open and driving only the rib cage round? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch the legs up to the ceiling. Exhale, lower the legs only as low as you can keep your imprint or undoming core. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower and lift. Feel your organs get heavy as you lower the legs and lift. Again, feel free to keep your head and shoulders down if you like, or lift them nice and high. You don't want to be in between. 5. Exhale, energy through the legs. 4 and 3, 2, 1. And hug the knees nice and tight. Give your head a little bit of a rest. Last one is the double leg stretch. Curl up with the head and shoulders. Reach the arms by the ears. Reach your legs away, holding this kind of banana position. And then come back, hug the knees. Breathe out, reach, and feel everything sinking. That's how you're trying it on an exhale. Inhale, return. Exhale, reach. Kind of the hollow hold position from calisthenics is what we're doing. Reach and return. 4 more. Reach, return. 3, 2, and 1. Now using your center, you're going to roll to the side. Good. Now while we're here, we're going to bend our bottom leg and stretch. Now I don't know which side you've got on top, but make sure you've got on top your non-dominant side, because again, we're going to do spirals on the non-dominant side and more linear patterns on the dominant side. So I happen to have my left leg up. So actually, let me start you off with the dominant leg on top. So can you all have your dominant leg on top, your non-dominant leg at the bottom? Let's start with linear, plain, simple movement first. We just go up and down. Keep lifting here. You don't want to be hanging out. Lift and activate the muscles underneath your armpits. And energize this leg long. Don't think of lifting it high, just long. Keep checking in with this shoulder that you haven't sunk into it. Obviously, you're feeling these muscles starting to say hello. We'll just get them into screaming mode in a second. So hold it there, flex the foot. Let's do the side kick. We go forward 2 kicks, point the foot, we go back 2 kicks. Flex the foot, we go forward, point, we go back. Exhale as you go back. And I like to do these up here when we're short of time, because you work into your glute med a little bit quicker. You fatigue it sooner because you're already in abduction. And then just hold it there and just circles. Putting the accent on the back portion of the circle. 2, 3, 4. Can you feel it? 5, 6. Change direction. Check in with this shoulder again. 2. Keep lifting, pushing down into the elbow. 4, 5, 6. And hold. And relax. Take that leg across. Just hug it across your body like this. And then stretch your legs. Before we go to the other side, let's do some coordination challenge on your non-dominant side by itself. So for most of us, left leg is in front, left hand. If you're the left-handed, you're probably going to do it the other way around. So what I want you to do, same arm, same leg. Your foot goes in, your wrist goes out. Your hand goes out. Your foot goes out, your hand goes in. Okay, so they're going in opposite directions. And start with that first, and then see if you can turn it into a circle in opposite directions on the same side. I know it feels impossible at first, but if you do it broken down, that TikTok version of it, before you get into the circles, then it comes. Those of you who've been doing this, maybe, because this is quite a well-known coordination challenge, so if you're used to it, explore doing it with eyes closed and see if that makes things easier or more challenging for your brain. Change direction. These classes are about getting to know your brain better. Change direction. For some of you, you'll find actually closing your eyes helps a lot. Maybe you're bombarded with so much visual input all the time. It is our most dominant sense. And some of you will find that closing your eyes helps you focus, or closing the eyes, makes it more challenging for you because you don't have the visual input. See, I just got back to the same direction. Yeah, so check in with that. Well done. Before we go to the other side, let's do a spine twist. Flex both feet locked next to each other. Lengthen up nice and tall. Let's twist to the right. 1, 2, come back to center. Twist to the left. 1, 2, come back center, twist to the right, 1, 2. If you're unable to sit tall like this, just do a diamond shape with your legs or sit on a cushion. 1, 2, lengthen tall. You should feel this in your mid-back. That's the main muscles working. Of course, your obliques are working too, but especially if you're trying to lengthen, and remember, cerebellum controls our posture. If you're trying to lengthen, you should feel your mid-back area is really working. 1 more on each side. Think of growing out of the discomfort. This is the discomfort. Grow out of it. Let this be your challenge. And relax. Let's go to the other side. Bend the bottom leg. Again, just practice hanging out and then lifting, hanging out and then lifting, and keep that feeling of lift the whole time. Here we're going to do a little bit different. This is your non-dominant side. So we're going to start immediately with the vertical 8s. Challenging our cerebellum with the smoothness of that 8, and really ask yourself, if there was a pen in your toes, would the 8 look like an 8, or would it look like a kid's 8? You know, a toddler drawing an 8. And is the rest of the body tensing when the leg is having to coordinate more? Are you starting to sink in? Change direction. The muscles are the same that we're working on both sides. The only difference is the neural challenge. We're asking the non-dominant side to think a little bit more. That's all. And then go horizontal 8 now. And notice how things get choppier as your muscles fatigue. Can you keep the smoothness despite this starting to really fatigue? Can you keep the lift through the shoulder? To modify this, if you want to make it easier, just come down. That's perfectly fine. Try and keep the drink here on the top of your pelvis. Change direction of that horizontal 8. Now the leg feels so heavy, but pretend you just started. Convince yourself you just started and the leg is light. And relax. Well done. take the leg across the body like this, hug it so you give that glutes a little bit of a stretch. Lovely. And now we're going to lay on our stomachs. So we're on our tummy for the last part of the class. We're going to do some extensions and then some planks, and we're done. So here, remember in the 100, we did arms pumping this way, legs going in this way. We're going to try it, but on our stomachs. So let's break it down first. First, we're going to do the arms, then we're going to do the legs, then we're going to put it all together. So with the arms, just take your standard dart position. And again, you can use the ball again, just to give a bit more sensory input up that left cerebellum side. So take the ball in the non-dominant hand, roll your shoulders open as if you're smiling across your collarbones, and reach long through the crown of the head. And keep your toes down, so just feel this more of a mid-back thing. And then exhale, relax. Exhale, crown of the head reaches forward as your tailbone moves back. That two-way reach. And relax. So now we're going to just roll up to the long line. Think of the crown of the head reaching forward away from your tailbone, and open your collarbones as if you're smiling across the collarbones, and then relax. We're going to inhale, reach forward, and exhale, relax. Now reach forward, hold it, and start pumping up to the ceiling behind you. This is what the arms are going to do. When we start pumping up, our shoulders like to roll forward. Don't let them. So think of your back muscles doing this, not your arms. Your back muscles are making your arms pump back with a little help from your triceps. And relax. Bring them in front. Let's do what the legs are going to do. So energize your legs so much that they just hover above the ground. Turn the legs out and see if you can beat the legs together. Now, they don't have to touch. Look at mine. Mine aren't touching. Some of you may touch, but if I force my legs to touch, I would feel like I'd have to bend my knees. My back just feels like it doesn't allow that. So just bring them towards each other. We can explore pointing for 4 beats and flexing the feet for 4 beats if you want to challenge your coordination some more. All right? So we're just testing that. Now we put it all together. Ready? So take your position. Arms reach high, legs reach long. Turn the legs out, pump the arms up, and we go in 2, 3, 4, 5. Flex 2, 3, 4, 5. Point 2, 3, 4, 5. Flex 2, 3, 4, 5. Point 2, 3, 4, 5. Flex 2, 3, 4. Back of the neck long with no wrinkles. Flex 2, 3. Notice how your arms and legs want to do the same thing. Keep going if you can. Don't mind me, I'm just getting mixed up because of the counting as well. Kind of have to just do this one in silence. Yeah, there we go. And hold. We work on that and relax. Leave the ball. Just do a brief child's pose. We are still doing one more extension into teaser, so we'll do a big finish, which is our swan, working our extensor muscles, a little bit of rotation into teaser. So go ahead and take your hands underneath your shoulders, take your legs a little bit more open and turn them out. Tip your elbows towards the floor to move your shoulders away from the ears as you lengthen the crown of the head forward all the way up. Now my arms aren't stretching here. Then we're going to lengthen forward. They don't have to straighten. You want to keep your shoulders away from the ears. So tip your elbows down, reach the crown of the head forward, lift, and then exhale to come down. Now on the next one, we're going to inhale to reach up. And as we exhale, we're going to lift the left glute or left leg as if you're going to lay on your back, but your hands are grounded. And then you come back up and lift your chest. Same on the other side, as if you're going to lay on your back, but you come up. Then we tip as if we're going Now actually push off your left hand and sit into a teaser position with the arms up. Bring the hand down, lift the leg up, and arc again as it lowers. Then we come down, tip the right leg, lift, and then bring the hands down to the center and up. Just do a plain swan in the middle actually between those. Let's do it with a bit of rhythm. Inhale, exhale, reach the left leg back, roll and sit. Bring the hands down, come back to your swan. Reach the right leg back, roll and sit. Bring the hands down, back to swan. Again, just rolling. You can explore doing this with eyes closed to stimulate more of your cerebellum and vestibular systems, because the cerebellum is the neighbor of your inner ear fluids, which is the vestibular system, very stimulated by rolling patterns, especially when your eyes are closed. Keep the shape of your extension. Now hold it here. Let's just do one big challenge at the end. See if we can lift this right leg to meet the left without changing our posture. So we go 1, exhale, 2. I know this is a little bit advanced. You can bend your knees if you want to. 3, 4, hold it up, 5. Roll down, touch your lower back to the floor, but keep your legs where they are if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to the swan, up. We'll do the same on the other side. Lift, reach, energize from your center so the leg feels light. 1, if your focus is here, the legs won't feel so heavy. If you sit back off your sit bones, the legs will feel lighter. 4, hold it up, 5. Roll down, 1, and reach. 2, reach. 3, 4, 5. Hands go down, roll up, and let's just do classical finish. Child's pose. Take your plank again, just like when we started. Does it feel easier now to hold this position? Crown of the head reaching forward. Heels, sacrum, shoulder blades moving back. Feel free to do some push-ups if you have some energy. Lift your core center. Lift the bottom to an upstretch or a downward dog. Walk your hands to your feet, keeping your bottom steady. Ground your heels. Notice how much more flexibility you have now compared to the beginning of the class. At least I can put my palms down. I definitely couldn't in the beginning of the class. Press down, roll up. One vertebra at a time. We'll finish with balance. So standing again, if your mat is thick, just stand on your floor. Stand on the non-dominant side again, pressing down strongly into the foot. If you've got a ball and not a piece of fruit, it's good to roll your foot against that ball before you do any balance training. It's going to make your foot much more sensitive to the ground and feel much more grounded. Now, as we're in this position, we're going to challenge that same figure 8 that we did earlier. You can hold the ball again if you want to. And we're going to do it, though, with eyes closed. So if that throws you off too much, keep your toes lightly touching the floor. Do the arm movement a little faster than what you did in the beginning, if you're able to. Really think about the base of your foot and your core. Change direction. And notice just how much our vision governs our balance. And relax, center. And then on the other side, we're going to do it also, but just to compare, does that actually feel a lot more grounded than your non-dominant side? Typically, yes, but not always. And then hold the ball in your dominant side and just compare how those two feel with your eyes closed again. Change direction. and relax. Leave the ball, you can roll down. Just lift your arm up, side bend, sliding your hand down the side, and return. Reach up, side bend to the other side, and return. Side bend again. If you're side bending with the left arm up, lift your left heel to allow yourself to go a little deeper. Now stay in this new depth as you press your heel back into the ground, just to deepen that stretch. Reaching the fingertips to the opposite side and release. Same thing now on the other side. We go, we lift the right heel to allow us to go deeper, and then once we're in that new depth, you press your heel back into the ground to deepen that stretch. Stay where you are at the same depth and relax. And then bring your back of the pinky fingers together and just roll your wrists, change direction, and relax. So for homework, what I'd like you to try is to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand tonight and see how that feels. You will feel like you want to use the other hand to clean properly, but please don't. Please do give this one a chance to get it. You just have to go slow enough. Remember that those neural connections will find each other, those synapses will find each other, and it will get better and better. And the aim, as I said earlier, isn't to create symmetry in your cerebellum. You're never going to have symmetry. The aim is to wake up underactive neurons, because our brain is kept alive through activation of any neurons. And if you focus on the underactive ones, that's even better. So I hope you enjoyed today's class. I'll see you next month for the next one.